Okay, the news we've had so far is that the decision that was going to be made today by Cabinet, affecting basically 450 staff, has been pulled to a full council meeting next Friday, that's the 24th, which will be taken at Shire Hall, and it will be taken to full council for deliberation, debate and commentary on. What we want in that time is to make sure that the management here work up accurate plans, accurate information and clear, transparent information about what they wish to cut in terms of services for the people of Herefordshire. You know, that's the right that people have to know what services are they going to lose, because unless there's that clarity and transparency, my concern is that we will have a decision made that affects thousands, you know, was it 380,000 residents. This decision will affect them, and we have 58 people now going to make that decision, but they need to be informed with accurate information. That's what we want. That's what they have a right to. So we're going to be working with management and obviously with the staff as well to get that information and make sure it's accurate, clear and concise.
This banner was made by Mary and Michael Ernest and their grandchild. They've been in a book group for more than 10 years. They're in their 80s. They were in tears just now, thinking of the end of the library service. Even though they're not that well at the moment, they made it here to protest. They said they've never protested in their life, but they felt moved to come along today because they think libraries really matter.
We assert that in the moment when they passed the budget in February, it was an illegal budget. And we are convinced of that now. With hindsight, they can show that it isn't an illegal budget, but only with hindsight. In the moment, because of the double counting of the Learning Disabilities Grant, it was illegal. And that's what we are asserting. Behind the scenes, we met with the leader-elect a couple of days ago and asked for a full council meeting. It was absolutely clear that he was not prepared to grant that full council meeting as an open-ended commitment. We then basically said to him, if he didn't grant the full council meeting, we would call it ourselves because we have a constitutional right to do that. We think that changing the budget to this extent, and a budget that we assert was illegal at the time when it was agreed, that needs to be discussed in public, and the public need to be given a right to put their concerns to a full council meeting. And a full council meeting is the only place where the public is allowed to address the council. So I think in their meeting this morning they realised that they were going to get their council meeting whether or not they agreed to it, and so they then agreed that they would pull the report this afternoon and call the council meeting. It in no ways gives us any faith in the new leadership of this council that they have elected a man who was in charge of that budget process in February. That budget process that has had to be torn up because their new chief executive has said, you can't do that.
You can't do the maths.
Well, you can't do the maths, but actually you're passing a budget that is undeliverable. And we knew at the time that they were saying behind the scenes that was undeliverable, but they stood in a public meeting and said it was deliverable. That is an unacceptable approach to managing the council as far as the Conservative administration is concerned. They barely have a majority. They have a majority of one, and unless you start asking people what sort of society we want in Herefordshire, we have not had that debate, and they are refusing to have that debate. We said in February, you should have that debate. You should give the members of the public a realistic choice about closing your libraries, your leisure centres, your museums, all of those services that people love, and the reason they pay their council tax, the majority of people pay their council tax for those services. And unless you allow people the debate in public, in the open, about what sort of community you want to be, maybe those people would vote for a rise in their council tax to pay for that. And if they don't, at least you then have the mandate to cut them. But they have not done that debate. They passed what we assert was an illegal budget, and they are now creating the crisis in which they can cut all your jobs. That is unacceptable. It is mismanagement in the extreme, and they've got to stand up and be counted about that. But we're only 9. We're only 9, they're 30.
How do we join?
So we will carry on and do what we can. They will pass whatever they pass at the meeting. This decision has already been taken. all we can do is hope to slow the process down in order that the services, and actually I hope you as public servants and us as public representatives recognise that it's the services that are actually the most important thing. And if we can find a way of saving those services, I can't, with my hand on my heart, say vote IOC and we'll deliver those services after the next election. I can't do that. The situation isn't like that anymore. What I can say is that we will do our utmost to save those services in some form. And traditional thinking Tories are not going to be able to think outside the box enough to do what needs to be done in the future. So it's about time we had a step change in who we vote for in this council. Anyway, I have to go and talk about Section 75, health.